back, and now he got all the money in the world and the girl. So he the man.
Yeah.
So
he living life.
living life.
But this
Good
punk
for him.
ass bus driver ain't. So
Oh my
and that's literally how we have it on our show outline. The punk ass bus driver.
Punk ass
So
bus driver.
so if you guys and I saw this, so like when I saw it on the show outline, I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, what do you mean punk ass bus driver? But I saw a different headline. So basically, this is a former New York school bus driver admits to raping a 14-year-old but gets no jail time. Now, before we go into our opinions, and I know everybody here at this table knows the color of this man's skin.
Y'all already
But
know.
if we had to guess,
Sounds about white.
That's it.
man, I saw this, man. And you know, like now with social media and the fact that we have so much information so quickly, you know, I think sometimes we could be quick to jump to an opinion or to a stance. But I think this is one of those things that you ain't even got to think deep, man.
You don't.
See, here's the thing. The bus driver was 26 years old, so he's not that old.
Right.
And the girl was 14 years old. Not saying that what he did was right. There are some, stupid girls that falls in love with
don't
older
matter.
guys. And then,
Let me-
but at the
doesn't
same
matter.
time, he did admit that he actually raped this girl.
Right.
And the judge said, you're not going to jail because you have no issues before. You have no history.
I wouldn't care.
No records of anything.
I wouldn't care.
Let me ask you something, Tiff.
He only paid like $360 bucks. That's it.
Let me ask you something. If that man's skin color was my skin, 'cause I'm the lightest non-white person here, right? Like, if it was me, do you think I would have got a slap on the wrist like that?
I wonder who the judge was.
It don't matter.
It don't matter.
That see. Look. Let's take everything outside of the person that admitted to raping is a variable. Let's take all of that out.
Right.
Switch out that person, which is the constant that admitted to raping.
No. Here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what color your skin tone is or what color or what kind of race you have. He should have gone to jail.
Right.
1000%.
He raped a girl.
Period.
But this is white privilege.
That's it. Period.
This right here is white
Period.
privilege.
Period.
There's no other way to explain it, right? Because you are literally in the court of law saying I broke a law. Oh, don't worry about it because you don't have a criminal past. Just pay a little minor fine and then you're good. Now, that's not even taking into account that little girl and how she feels possibly about sex now, how she feels about men now, what she would be willing to accept, right? Like her standards are now lowered immensely simply because this person said, you know what,
But
I want to do this today.
here's the thing. On the news article, it also said that there was no physical violence at all.
Mm-hmm.
So there was some type of willingness on her end.
Okay, so now we're questioning the morality of a 26-year-old man.
It's like, is it just an age thing or was a rape him just saying, oh, I wanted it more than her?
Regardless,
to me, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
To me, as long as it's a child, it has no bearing to me whether it's 1 or 1,000. It's a child. That's somebody's child.
Right.
And that child will never be the same. That person is going to be in some type of jail for probably the rest of her life in her mind.
Right.
So in saying that, he should be punished because I'm telling you, if it was my daughter, jail would be the safest place in the world for him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying because it just doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't.
And Dr. Lovejoy, what kind of consequences and repercussions can happen to a rape victim?
So there are a lot. One of the things that I do in therapy is women's empowerment and sex therapy. And a lot of women that need intimacy counseling have been victims of some type of sexual abuse, sexual trauma. In reading the article, it says that at this age already, she's now starting to deal with anxiety and depression. And so hopefully they will get her into some good therapy and she will do the work and she will be okay. But there are so many women walking around with some sort of sexual trauma in their past, and it presents itself in a multitude of ways. I mean, some women become very promiscuous. Then some women don't want to have sex at all. Some women can't enjoy intimacy, and so then they just not look for, but then it's easier for them to just have random sex without emotion, because that is what they experience from this traumatic event. So there are a multitude of things that can possibly present because of this experience.
And without therapy, can somebody live what we call a quote unquote normal life, a normal sex life, without therapy, or is it mandatory when something like this traumatic happens?
Well, I think obviously, it's not mandatory. People have been going on, years, and therapy was not as prevalent as it is today. I'm so glad that people are okay now to say, I'm going to a therapist, and that it's becoming okay to see a therapist. Obviously, I believe therapy can help. Mandatory, no, but a lot of times we walk through life numb to these experiences because we have not done the work of therapy. Therapy is painful, and I need people to know that therapy is not a quick fix. It is painful because you do have to talk about and grow through what you have experienced. So, like I said, hopefully she will get with a good therapist, and then the work can be done so that she's okay, because a lot of women, they haven't. And a lot of women die with that guilt and that shame that they felt from whatever sexual trauma they experienced, and they never had healthy sex lives. So many women suffer from unhealthy sex lives because of past trauma.
See, speaking of this topic, there's a big bill trying to be passed in a federal law where child marriage is it acceptable or not?
Yep.
In some states, including Kansas and I believe Iowa and Idaho, a lot of Midwest areas are
And out west,
allowing,
too.
right,
Out west.
and are allowing little kids to get married to a grown person. And it's usually the rapist victims that are getting married to the rapist.
Yep.
And because they're married on paper, the rapist can actually take advantage of the girl.
And you know what's
sad.
interesting? Again, it'd be right in our face. What's interesting is when those bills were being written and passed was all around the time that we were plastering R. Kelly. We were plastering Bill Cosby. So us, right, the people that would otherwise be informed about something like this, and we would, try to raise hell or, be social media activists or just be aware of the situation, we were over here talking about all of this other stuff about our culture and our pedophilia, while they're actually making it into real law that you can actually do this. Like it's crazy. I think sometimes when Dr. Lovejoy, you said something about walking around numb. And my wife, sometimes she says, you're not here. And sometimes, I'm like, man, I don't know what she's talking about. But then sometimes when I actually think about everything that's happening around me and the shield that I have to put up so that way I can just do what I have to do, I am numb. You know what I'm saying? Like that's 100% true. And I think that a lot of people, because I don't ever identify myself that way. But again, when I peel that layer back, I'm like, damn, I wonder how many more people are even more numb than I am.
A lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I mean, there's so many traumas in life. I think, I just think sometimes, like, I just want to be a kid again. Like this, this whole adulting thing, there's so many traumatic experience, and we all react differently based on our resources, our family history, just different things like that. And so, yeah, it just, trauma. I mean, we are, I was talking to a friend the other day, and she said our whole race is in trauma.
Right. That's true.
We suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, and we're not doing anything about it except for legalizing marijuana,
Right.
which just causes us to be even more numb, some of us, and alcohol. I mean, all of those things helps you to be able to continue to move forward. It's self-preservation, but really you're just preserving the numbness in order to live physically, but not emotionally, spiritually, and mentally.